Welcome back to the shop. Hopefully this video will be a little bit hard to shoot because the items are so small. And the good content producers take the time to really get in there and get those great shots. And it's hard to do. It really takes a lot of time to do everything correctly. A lot of you might recognize this. This is the utility knife made by AvE. My older brother Nick had bought this for my birthday, and now I'm going to put it together. And because these screws are so small, they're little itsy bitsy Phillips. I have no idea what size it is, but I do know that I have the correct screwdriver. That was also a gift from my buddy and neighbor Tim. I had fixed a tool for him, and as a measure of appreciation, he had gotten me this really nice set of screwdrivers, and these are just outstanding tools to have. It's so great to have the right tool for the job, and Wera makes excellent tools. I don't have a lot of Wera tools, but what I do have is excellent. It's almost specialty style tools. The neat thing about Wera is they have a lot of bolt capturing type things, and it's hard to really go into depth and explain how everything works in the sense, because it's so small. Let me get in focus there. What I'm trying to show you here is there's this plate that captures the bolt, and if you put the bolt in like here, it passes through. However, if you put the bolt in half a bubble off, half a turn off, it's now captured, and if you needed to put this in somewhere and press, it captures it, which seems like a pretty nuanced feature, but when you need it, you absolutely need it. And for those of you that have worked on some of these older motors, the Kohlers, I think the carburetors sometimes have bolts that are captured and trapped behind things, and it's nice to be able to hold on to things and shove them into the hole and start them. But they also have some interesting technology for the sockets. And here's a 10mm, managed to find it. And it's neat because it has, God, it's so hard to find. See the little detent ball right there? And that detent is neat because it keeps the screw in. So the screw can't fall out. And the same thing, if you're trying to reach down into a hole to put something in there, the screw's not going to fall out. If it was a typical socket, it would just fall right out of the thing. So again, the Wera tools are not great because of the tolerances or the strength or anything like that. In my mind, they're precision tools. They have a unique niche, if you will, and you probably don't need an entire full set of these in my mind. But because they're expensive, a little cost prohibitive for me, I buy the ones that I need. 10mm, 13mm. You know, this is a $20 wrench, and that's sort of a lot of money for one wrench in my mind. But having the right tool for the job is such a good feeling, and that's why I'm happy to have this set of tools. I'm going to go through and assemble this, and I realized I don't have fresh new blades for this, so I'm going to go ahead and order those while I assemble this, and I'll bring you back once the new blades get delivered, and we'll talk a little bit about this knife. Pardon me if this video is a little disjointed. It's been probably 4 days since just a second ago when you watched me messing around with this. The screws are tiny, really, really tiny. I managed to snap one off in there. Long story, there's better tutorials on assembling this knife from AvE. Again, I said this was a gift from my brother. It is pretty fantastic. It needs to be run back and forth a bunch of times before it's perfect, and I didn't spend a lot of time deburring it or greasing it or anything like that. I've just got it assembled now, and I just got the blades. It's what I was waiting on. What I didn't know, well, this didn't come with any instructions, and the tutorials online, you know, just didn't explain that this is a different size blade. I ordered what looked like a regular blade to me, 18mm. Just took a 25. That's why it took a little while. But I ran it through the sander and the fiber wheel to clean these edges up. It really is a remarkable tool, and for those of you that haven't seen the AvE channel, it's AvE, stands for Arduino versus Evil. It's sort of a eclectic channel. He's got a bunch of different stuff on there, guys. Super smart. Go check it out if you haven't seen it before. But I've got a couple of his shirts and this knife, and I appreciate contributing to the YouTubers that I watch when they sell shirts. Yeah, I usually buy them, and instead of going to the local Ross or Marshalls and spending money on some Filipino or Chinese made shirt, you know, it's probably still the same shirt, but at least the makers of the YouTube channel, you know, get a chance to make a couple bucks off of it. But that's that knife, and it's just a world away from what your typical knife is. We can see that the I turned the camera off for a minute while I figured out how to work this thing, and I broke it. So it just goes to show that these cheap knives, they're disposable. They're not made to put new blades in. It's possible to put new blades in them, but they're just not made nearly like this. This is lasting me for the rest of my life and for the foreseeable future. This is really a top-notch tool. I'm a little disappointed in myself for breaking the screw off in there. I followed the instructions, and I don't think I'm going to tempt fate and try to drill that out or anything. There's just no way for me to do anything other than make that worse. Anyway, thank you, Nick, for the present, and again, thank you, Tim. These Wera screwdrivers are just outstanding. I wouldn't have been able to do this job without these things. It's really nice to have the right tool for the job. I'm gonna have to turn this video into kind of a mosh. One of the things that I dislike is the single-use stuff. These bottles, I mean, I understand what Swiffer's trying to do here. They're trying to sell you water with a little bit of chemical in it, and I just hate that. So I'm gonna try to adapt this. Believe it or not, that's watertight. I was going to put some Permatex in there, but that seems to work alright. This is just a drain plug off of a kayak screwed into there. Now I can reuse this container for my Swiffer. Okay, so there's my Swiffer, and you see the holes will align. It's not going to interfere at all. And I'm not beholden to them. If I want to use some sort of different cleaner, I can. And it doesn't leak. I think these drain plugs are $4 or $5 online, and honestly, Catherine does most of the shopping, so I'm not sure how much this is, but it's out of principle. That's why I'm doing this, because they didn't want me to by making this anti-tamper thing. But there's always a better way. The last thing I'm going to do for this mosh is I'm going to fix my recently sabotaged squirrel bird feeder. My buddy Frank gave this to me, and the squirrels are ingenious. They really are smart animals, as much as they can be a pain in the butt. And they chewed through this piece of string that was on there and knocked it down because it was easier for them to eat when it's laying on the ground and not dangling in the air for the birds. So I'm going to replace it with something that's a little harder to chew through. If you don't have any of this, I think 16th gauge steel wire, get some. It's fantastic. I use it for mousing on stuff, you know, to keep the pin with the trailer hitch and so on and so forth. It's just fantastic, and it's very cheap. I think, you know, this giant spool and these things are probably under $25, and it's just fun to work with. It's nice and strong. Okay, put a little loop in the top. I'll bring it out back and show you. There it is with the wire. The little addition here will keep it from getting off kilter, because the squirrels will balance on one side and throw it off. That's why I put a loop in this one. We'll see how long it takes them to chew that apart. What? Chickens? So that's a quick fix for that. Sorry for the lack of continuity in this video. I've been all over the place. It's hard to figure out what content might be interesting. But showing people what tools, new tools are neat and interesting is, you know, I think for me, always neat to watch. Again, that's a pretty outstanding knife there. And the diamond stones. If you don't have a diamond stone, I would say go get one. And especially this folding one, I think it was $7. The traditional sharpening stones are great, but these are just so handy to have. And they're so cheap. I was using this on a set of scissors that I redid for a friend of mine the other day, and it's just nice. It's so much nicer to have something handy like this with the dual grit. This is 400 and 600. I'll put a link of it, what I got on there. Again, I don't make any money from this stuff. I just like showing you stuff that works for me. And with that, I think I'm about wrapped up on this video, so hopefully I can make sense of this. and I hope you guys took something away from that. Again, thanks for watching, and hope you have a good day.